One of the most frustrating things that happens in trading is missing out on a big move because the market did not give you the perfect entry or retest. It can cause traders to chase moves only to lose money. In this video, I'll be sharing the only indicator I have used to find good risk to reward entries and catch big moves in the market. By the end of this video, you will know how to identify strong momentum and enter high probability trades, how to enter trades when you have missed your entry and retest level, how to hold on to your winning trades, and when to exit. I will be going over the main challenge that most people face and the challenge that I was facing. Then I'll show you the indicator, and then I would go over two scenarios and how to use the indicator and how to add the indicator to your chart. And then finally, I'll be going over a trade where I made just over $1,000 using everything I'm going to go over in this video. The price moves past your entry and you're not able to enter where you plan to take the trade, or you hold your trades for too long, or even sell your winners too early. Now, in the image right here, you can see that as the market opens, there's strong buying. And if you're someone like me that likes to trade the previous day's high, break and retest, it did not come back to retest that level. And if you're also someone like me that likes to trade the 5-minute opening range high, break and retest, it did not also give you an entry. So instead of sitting there like, oh man, I have missed this trade, or you maybe try and chase the move, I'm going to show you how you can still take the trade and manage your position. So why do you even want to use this indicator? This indicator helps you identify the true trend and if there's real momentum. It also acts as support and resistance. Now, what is this indicator? You're probably asking. It's the exponential moving average clouds, EMA clouds. This green cloud that you're seeing, this green one you're seeing, just takes the average price of the stock or the asset that you're trading over a 5-day period, 8-day period, 9-day period, and 12-day period. And it creates this cloud that acts as support in an uptrend and resistance in a downtrend. The blue cloud just does it for a 34-day period and a 50-day period. You don't need to know all the math behind it. You just need to know that it's called exponential moving average indicator. Now, the scenarios. Scenario 1. You have strong momentum candles forming within the first 5 minutes of market open, and you are watching the 1-minute time frame. That's the time frame that I watch and I execute my trades in the morning. I always do my analysis on higher time frames, but I execute my trades on the 1-minute time frame for those who do not know. So you're seeing the strong buying pressure and strong momentum, and you're probably wondering, okay, you saw the first pullback here, why not enter here? And now I'm going to show you this. If you entered this trade or chased this move, you would have gotten stopped out. You would have gotten stopped out on the trade. And you're probably wondering, okay, so how do I then use this indicator? This is where this indicator comes in, and you have to follow these steps. Step number 1 is that you wait for price to pull back into this green cloud. And then you wait for buyers to step in. That's the second candle. Buyers step in. You can then enter the trade and you set your 1:2 risk to reward. That's option 1, right? And your stop loss will be below the close of once the candle closes below the green cloud or your previous red candle, which would be acting as support. So here you can see the outcome of this trade here is that buyers then stepped in because, like I said earlier, they act as support in an uptrend and resistance in a downtrend. And then you're able to then capture this trade. In this scenario, this one is my favorite one, right? This scenario 1 is actually my favorite one because you're catching the trend and the move really, really early. And for it to hold the green cloud, it shows that buying is really strong and it will most likely continue. So scenario 2, you missed scenario 1 and the trend is still going strong. Remember, you're still watching that 1-minute time frame. You missed that entry right here. And maybe you even sold because, okay, your 1:2 risk to reward hit and you're like, oh, it can't continue to go higher. But you see that it does. And you're wondering, okay, should I just give up on this trade or should I enter this trade? This is where scenario 2 comes in and the second indicator comes in. You want to wait for price. Step 1 is that you wait for price to pull back and touch this blue cloud. When you see prices pull back, touch this blue cloud. And like I said earlier, this blue cloud will now be acting as support. You see that it's holding this green candle printed that engulfed this red candle here, this last red candle here. And you can see buyers start to step in, and it broke above this engulfing candles high. You enter the trade here, and then you can target the previous high that was made. You don't want to get greedy if you missed scenario 1 and you're taking scenario 2 entry, because most of the time, if the trade ends up working and it pushes into the previous high that was made, that's where the true reversal would probably start. And at that point, just leave it alone and exit the trade once it has hit once it has hit the high that it made before pulling back into this blue cloud. And as you can see here on the right side of my screen, it took some time, like over an hour, to work out. In this case, you're going to be sitting down there. It's a longer setup for it to play out and reach your target. So if you're trading scenario 2, you need a lot of patience and you can't be greedy, because you're catching what I call the last leg up. And when it works, most of the time, the high of day is your ultimate target. And once it hits, you just exit the trade, because at that point, you can see, even like, look at it, the move is not as sharp as if you're entering with scenario 1. And you exit the trade at the top here once it has hit the highs. Now, how do you add this indicator to your chart? You want to go to trading view. I use trading view to do my analysis, so these steps you can follow if you have trading view. If you don't, your broker, I know this indicator is available on Thinkorswim, and I believe Webull as well if you use Webull, but I believe a lot of traders use TradingView, so it should be applicable if you use TradingView. So you open up TradingView and you want to click on indicators. I've highlighted it here. You click on indicators, and when you click on indicators, you want to search the name Ripster. And when you search the name Ripster, a lot of names will come up because people have created their own variations of this cloud. But the one I use is this one with just above 13K on this side here. So you click on it, and then once you do that, the indicator will be added to your chart. Then you go to the top left of TradingView and you will see the list of indicators like this, and then you want to click on settings. I have shown what the settings button looks like. You click on settings and you want to adjust your settings to just be like mine, like I've shown on the screen. You want to show only cloud 1, 2, and 3. The reason for this is because there are like 5 clouds and you don't need all 5. You just need the ones that I am showing you right here for you to be able to use this indicator as I have shown. If you don't follow this exactly to the T, don't ask me why it didn't work. Okay, so once you do that, you then click OK, and it should be all good. Now I'm going to go over the trade example on the trade I took with NVIDIA, where I made just over $1,000 using the same concept. 1,300 to real account, not fake. So if you're in my free community, you know that on Friday, April 24th, I mentioned I was watching 204 on NVIDIA for an upside trade. But something happened that was different, and I was just like, I might have to adjust my game plan. And I'm going to be walking through what was going through my head, what happened, where I entered the trade, and how I was able to manage and catch the $1,000 trade on NVIDIA. So let's play it out. As you can see, the video here is showing signs of scenario 1, where you have a strong trend that opened, as you can see, but it pulls back into the green cloud. Remember, you're on the 1 minute time frame, because that's where I execute my trades. I do my analysis on the higher time frames, and then I execute my trades on the 1 minute time frame. Okay, so at this point, it's holding this green cloud. Okay, did you enter the trade? I did not enter the trade. Why? Because where I was watching that open was 204. I'm watching to see if it would now give me that continuation and give me a retest of 204. I watch it. Some people could have entered this trade here and sold at high of day, but I'm like, my game plan was 204. And at this point, we're only 10 minutes into the market open on a Friday. So why rush? Why rush? Okay, now, as you can see, it's playing out. We are now pulling back. Now I'm watching, okay, do we just chop around, or do we hold this blue cloud? Because this blue cloud is where I'm watching to see if it acts as support, to show if there's actually real momentum or buyers, or if that push as open was just a fluke. Now, you can see for now, it's just holding this blue cloud. Am I entering yet? No, I'm not entering yet, because at this time, I'm still like, let's wait and see. And I'll be honest with you, I was getting really impatient. with this trade. I was like, if it's going to go, let it just go so that I see if it's going to set up nicely. Okay, what happens next? At this point, I'm like, okay, now you have my attention. You are consolidating. You are forming a flag for pattern traders. Pattern traders would tell you this is a flag, right? But I don't trade patterns. This is a flag. This is also trend line liquidity, all sorts of confluences lining up. And I've explained these concepts on my channel, but if you need more clarity, I can make another video. I see that we have buyers stepping in to close this candle nicely, and then the next thing you can see is a green candle that basically engulfs this red candle. And I'm like, okay, now you have my attention. As this candle closed, I'm like, I'm going to try this for a low risk entry right here. I'm going to try it for a low risk entry right here, and my stop will be here. I won't lie, I got a little impatient after waiting for the first 30 minutes, and I was like, if it goes at this point, I don't believe it's going to give me a retest at 204, because it has spent time consolidating, and I've seen this happen so many times. I still set my target as 204s for my first scale, but I was like, if I've seen this happen so many times that it might not give me that entry. So now let's play this out. As you can see, it's playing out. It's holding the, I'm going to move this so you can see it. It's holding the blue cloud, like the example, right? Holding the blue cloud, and there you go. Look at this. I'm going to pause it. Look at this move. Like I said, I anticipated that it would not give me an entry. It's almost like I spoke. It did not end up giving me that entry. And if I did not take a chance here when I entered this trade based on, of course, experience, things I've seen work in the past, pattern recognition. When you trade and you see things happen multiple times, you'll be able to recognize it and take a chance. I was okay, this is a low risk entry. Let me just take a chance on it. And I sat through this slow grinding move. Again, like I said, right, it would act as support in an uptrend. All this build up that you can see here happen. This build up that you can see happen is why we did not end up seeing this retest here. It was too strong. Buyers stepped in and pushed this thing higher. And this is where the second thing I want to mention comes in. So if you continue playing this tape, you can see it's holding the green cloud nicely, holding it nicely. And then eventually, price approaches the blue cloud, right? At even a nice resistance level turn support. And people that ended up chasing this move would have gotten a chance to take a trade towards high of day. So even if you ended up chasing this move and entering when price then caught up and retraced back to touch the blue cloud right here, you would have gotten a chance to enter the trade and scale at and get out at high of day. This is an example that covers all I talked about in this video. Now, I'm not saying always use this indicator. I'm just telling you that it can be a guide, especially if you're in the beginning of your journey and you don't really know how to identify strong momentum or strong buying. This can be your guide, but it's not something that's going to tell you when to buy or when to sell. It's a guide, it's a tool. I don't have it on my chart all the time. I use it as a guide and to add confluence to my thesis that yes, I can now hold on to this trade longer. If you're someone that finds that you're always selling too early, you can have a rule that you just hold the trade as long as it's riding these clouds. You just hold it until it finally breaks down from the blue cloud. You can use that as your guide. So thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.